The confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,222,447. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 23,276. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 7,061, with total confirmed deaths at 202. We anticipate the numbers to change as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's 4 p.m. on Monday, April 5th. If you were up early this morning, you may have felt a slight jolt as a series of earthquakes struck close to home. 3 tremblers, all within 30 minutes, struck the city of Lenox, just south of Inglewood. The first one recorded at about 4:15 a.m., then a 2.5 magnitude minutes later, and finally a 4.0 magnitude quake centered about a mile northeast of Lenox. The U.S. Geological Survey reported more than 20 smaller tremblers, included a 2.4 quake centered near Inglewood, following that 4.0 magnitude quake this morning. Seismologist Dr. Lucy Jones tweeted that this morning's tremblers included several foreshocks and aftershocks. As coronavirus cases continue to decline, Los Angeles County officially lifts more restrictions as the region moves into the moderate orange tier. Now, what does this mean? Well, beginning today, that means movie theaters, churches, museums, zoos, and aquariums will be able to expand how many can visit, increasing capacity from 25 to 50%. Barbershops, beauty salons, and personal care services can increase indoor capacity to 75% now. Gyms will also be able to have 25% capacity indoors now. Breweries and wineries can open at 25% indoors, and they'll be able to turn televisions back on to watch your favorite games. Card rooms and family fun centers like bowling alleys can open at 25% capacity. Grocery stores can expand to allow more shoppers to 75% capacity, but officials recommend remaining at 50% until April 15th to allow for more workers to get vaccinated. In just another week and a half, Californians will be able to plan for more indoor events. The state's public health department announced beginning April 15th, indoor concerts, theater performances, and NBA games will allow for fans to attend in person again. State officials say testing or proof of vaccination for some of those events won't be required, but they will limit the number of people allowed. Now, some events that may require testing and vaccinations will be allowed to have more paying customers than those who don't. And these events will be limited to only in-state residents for now. In the orange tier, this means live concerts or events with a capacity of up to 1,500 people will be allowed to have 15% capacity or 200 people, but could increase to 35% capacity if all guests are tested or show proof of vaccination. Now, for larger venues in the orange tier, capacity will be limited to 10% or 2,000 people, but could increase to 35% if all guests test or show proof of full vaccination. Now, the rules for indoor private gatherings like weddings, meetings, or conferences will only be allowed if all guests test negative for the coronavirus 72 hours in advance or show proof of full vaccination. Officials hope that more people will be encouraged to want to get the vaccine to enjoy their favorite activities once again, if that is part of the requirement to attend. This comes as nearly 19 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine has been administered to date. With spring break here and summer quickly approaching, Californians will now be able to travel with a little more ease. The state's Department of Public Health officially lifted the statewide advisory that asked residents to stay within 120 miles of their home to curb the spread of COVID-19. While the CDPH still discourages travelers from leaving the state or the country until the state achieves higher levels of vaccination, new recommendations for non-essential or leisure travel include taking a COVID-19 test before and after you travel, even if you've been vaccinated, and self-quarantining for 7 days, even if your test is negative. The department also discourages people from other states and countries from visiting California because they risk transmitting the virus or may introduce new virus strains. Good news for people who are fully vaccinated. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released updated guidance for fully vaccinated individuals who do plan to travel. The CDC Director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, still cautions against travel right now, given the rising number of infections. She says if you are vaccinated, it is lower risk, but not risk-free. Now, for international travel, the agency says vaccinated people do not need to get a COVID-19 test before leaving, unless the destination country requires it. For travelers coming into the U.S., vaccinated people should still get a negative COVID-19 test before boarding a flight and be tested 3 to 5 days after arrival and do not need to quarantine. According to the CDC, nearly 100 million people in the U.S., or about 30% of the population, have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The CDC is sticking to its guidance for unvaccinated people to avoid unnecessary travel. And if they do travel, the agency says to get tested 1 to 3 days before the trip and 3 to 5 days after. People should also stay home and quarantine for 7 days after travel, even if their COVID-19 test is negative. The CDC still recommends safety measures like wearing a mask, social distancing, and hand washing. Retail giant Walmart and Sam's Club are now adding to the many locations that are offering the COVID-19 vaccine. The expansion includes 137 Walmart and neighborhood market stores, along with 6 Sam's Clubs in California, with 21 of the locations in Southern California. Customers can go online to Walmart or Sam's Club's website to book an appointment. Sam's Club membership is not required to sign up for an appointment. The 2 Walmart locations closest to Torrance include the one on Normandy Avenue in Harbor City and the location on Inglewood Avenue in the city of Hawthorne. The closest Sam's Club location includes the one in Gardena, located on Artesia Boulevard. Six Flags Magic Mountain announced they'll be ready to welcome back guests beginning this Thursday. After being shut down for over a year during the pandemic, only season pass holders will be allowed in the park for the first 2 days, followed by the general public beginning on Saturday. Park officials say there are several COVID-19 safety measures in place, including contactless temperature screenings before entering the park, as well as hand sanitizer stations throughout the park and face masks required by all, except when actively drinking and eating. Physical distancing markers have also been installed, as well as extra sanitation efforts in place where rides will be wiped down and sanitized after every ride cycle before another group of guests get on the ride. The park will only be open at 15% capacity for now. You must make reservations ahead, even for those season pass holders. And if anyone had a season pass purchased in 2020, it will still be valid for this year. Legoland California Resort also announced plans of its phased reopening this month. The family-friendly amusement park will offer park preview days with access to select rides and attractions from now until April 15th, when they officially reopen to the public. For the first 2 weeks of April, priority access will be given to hotel guests, pass holders, and existing ticket holders impacted by the park's closure during the pandemic. All rides, shows, and attractions will be available beginning April 15th, including the Sea Life Aquarium and the water park. Guests are required to purchase tickets in advance online. Now, under the state's guidelines, the theme park will only be allowed to reopen at 15% capacity in the red tier. Groups are limited to 10 or fewer and from no more than 3 households. A salmonella outbreak is being linked to wild birds and bird feeders. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 3 of 19 new cases have been reported in California. Health officials warn that humans can contract salmonella by touching a wild bird, bird feeder, or bird bath, and then touching their mouth or face before washing their hands. Symptoms can appear up to 6 hours and 6 days after exposure to the bacteria. It includes bloody or prolonged diarrhea, a fever higher than 102 degrees, excessive vomiting, and signs of dehydration. Infections can typically last days to a week, and most people should recover without treatment or hospitalization. President Joe Biden revealed new infrastructure plans calling for Amtrak to add more routes out of Los Angeles to popular destinations. This would be part of the president's $2.3 trillion American Jobs Plan, which includes repairing roads and bridges, upgrading internet services, rebuilding school buildings and hospitals, and other initiatives which could also create millions of jobs. Following the president's announcement, Amtrak released plans to expand their railroad network, including new service between Los Angeles to Las Vegas and Los Angeles to Phoenix or Tucson. Amtrak said in a statement that with a growing and diverse population, a global climate crisis, and longer traffic jams, America needs a rail network that offers frequent, reliable, sustainable, and equitable train service. Amtrak is hoping to add 29 potential new routes nationwide by 2035. April marks Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and the Torrance Police Department launched a new campaign hoping drivers will take a break from their phones and focus on the road. Throughout the month, there will be additional officers on patrol specifically looking for drivers who violate the state's hands-free cell phone law. According to the 2020 California Statewide Public Opinion Survey, more than 75% of surveyed drivers listed texting as their biggest safety concern. In California, drivers are not allowed to hold a cell phone or other electronic device while behind the wheel, and drivers under the age of 18 are not allowed to use any phone for any reason, including hands-free. Authorities say if you need to make a call or send a text, pull over at a safe location. Drivers are encouraged to silence their phones before driving or put it out of reach to avoid picking up that call and becoming distracted. In just 2 weeks, the Torrance Public Library will welcome back visitors once again. All 6 branch locations will open their doors on Monday, April 19th, following Los Angeles County public health protocols for in-person services. Now, library hours will be modified and many safety precautions will be in place. Patrons will be limited to a 1-hour maximum stay in the building and 30 minutes on the computer to allow for proper cleaning and to allow for more patrons to enter and use the services. The phased reopening plan was created in response to the community's feedback to the recent survey put out by the library asking library goers what services they would like to have access to, what times, and what branches they frequent. You can learn more about the services available at library.torranceca.gov. The new California Welcome Center officially opened this weekend at Del Amo Fashion Center. With more than 20 million visitors annually, Torrance, in partnership with Discover Torrance and Simon Properties, set up a premier location to give travelers an opportunity to learn about local events, shows, places to eat, landmarks to see, and all of the great things that make California one of the most desirable states to live in and visit. The center is located on the first floor of the mall near the entrance to the outdoor promenade across from Zara, H&M, and Express, and they're open 7 days a week. Currently, there are 18 California Welcome Centers throughout the state. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community, pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Well, children at Torrance Memorial Medical Center were treated to a sweet surprise recently. Thanks to a generous donation by Sanrio, Torrance Memorial received 300 plush toys and Hello Kitty t-shirts for their pediatric unit. Sanrio, a popular retail store known for their gifts, stationery, plush products, school supplies, and much more, have offices in San Francisco and in Torrance. What a great way to bring a smile to children when they least expect it but need it most. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as Rhiannon Trutanich brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.